there viewers, how you doing? Just Trains have released the manual for West Coast Main Line, Preston to Carlisle, and I thought we might have a quick flick through just to show the depth of it, but also there's a lot of new screenshots that we haven't seen before, so I thought it might be interesting. For those of you who want the manual, I'll chuck a link into the description. And if you have trouble viewing the manual in Chrome or Edge like I did, you might want to use print to PDF and print yourself a new one because it's 87 meg and it doesn't need to be. And when you do print to PDF, it comes out to about 20. Anyway, something in here is a seriously high res that really bugs the browsers. But let's have a look. So on this front page, we've got the West Coast Main Line with an 87 class. I think we've seen that screenshot before. And we've got another one going over a viaduct. Nice to see the detail of the restraining bars holding that viaduct together, which is pretty cool. We've also got a pacer over in what looks like Preston and next to the amusement park, but that's on Blackpool branches, so we've seen that before. All right, looking at the contents, there's a lot. So there's detail on the Class 87. Look at that, 62 through to 77. So what's that, 15 pages on just that locomotive? That's pretty impressive. And more bits and pieces. They didn't accidentally include the 86 though, which would have been funny. Anyway, we can see a Class 87 lead service in the snow. First screenshot in the snow, I think. So that's pretty cool. I just realised my head's on top of this stuff. Let me just move my head, because, you know, you don't need to see that on top of your screenshots, do you? No. There we go. That's better. Get my ugly head out of the way. All right, we pop down to, back to the browser and back down to the next page. We can see a nice sunset shot of another 87 hauled set, looking over some fairly complex junctioning there, probably near a yard. And we can see the main route, so Preston through Lancaster with the branch to Bear Lane and Morecambe, then Carnforth, Oxenholme, Tintin's best friend, Penrith, and Carlisle with Kingmore Depot and Kingmore Yard beyond Carlisle. I'm not going to read the whole manual to you because we'd be here for hours. But let's just take a bit of a look. So we can there see an 87 hauled container train service. Doesn't look like any of the Freight-Line containers, so this might have been an early screenshot before they got that license, because that was pretty recent, and it is included. Looking down, that appears to be Preston Station. So looking exactly the same as it did in Blackpool branches, pretty much. I don't think there's been any changes to Preston. Next station we're looking at is Lancaster. Nice to see the coffee shop and bar. I wonder if we can get in there. And we can see an overhead shot of Lancaster as well as inside the station. Nice shadowing and lighting there. Next one we see is Bear Lane, which I'm sure will be the butt of many bear-ass jokes over the next coming streams. Looks quite nice with the signal box, the nice trains logo, British Rail, and the stone building. Next one down is Morecambe, which is the terminating branch, down near the seaside. Nice lighting under the big glass roof there. Cool clock, of course. And there's a curved line coming into Morecambe. I didn't actually realise that. It's interesting. Oh, that's Carnforth. I'm sorry. So the nice big cool clock is at Carnforth. I do like how dirty the glass roofs are. I reckon that's pretty cool. That actually improves things a little in my mind. The shadowing doesn't seem to reflect the dirtiness of the glass above. Oxenholme, Tintin's favourite station. Why? Because he often blows through it. Me, it's Nebworth. Tintin, it's Oxenholme. Anyway, so it looks like a pretty cool sort of regional station. Again, nice shadowing and lighting everywhere there. Next one is Penrith. Again, we've got the dirty glass. Lack of shadowing from the dirty glass. I'll stop saying that. People just get mad at me. I do see some cars on the right-hand side there that seem to be a little bit sunk into the ground. You probably can't see them from the train anyway. Carlisle. Again, very nice canopy roof. Looks like a big factory Carlisle, but it looks pretty effective. Nice little waiting area there. Parcels depot. And we got the route introduction. We have a Class 87 dragging another set under the wires. Lots of yellow vehicles over there. Looks like they're quite different ones too, so there's probably several over there, several different models. Ooh, lots of information. Skip, skip. Morecambe branch lines. We've got another view of Morecambe Station. And we've got Preston Power Signal Box. Filed Junction. The junction of the disused Long Ridge branch, where it connected to the West Coast Main Line, just north of Preston. St Walburg's Church, so a custom asset there. Tulkath Mill, another big custom asset. The Edwardian Mill in Barclays Road. Former cotton mill. Site of Barton and Broughton stations. And the site of Brock Station. So these are former stations on the line that are no longer used and look like, at least one of them is a private dwelling. The other one looks like it's a bit of a weigh and works depot. Site of Garstang Catterall Station. So again, it looks like it's turned into a private home. And site of the junction for the Not End Railway. But it ended not. Scorton Station served the village of Scorton, now gone. The Pennine Tower. So hexagonal concrete tower is designed to look like an air traffic control tower. So another custom asset. Good to see the power lines appear to be actually connected together, although there might be a gap there. Could be a lodding issue though. It looks like the ones over the left there don't actually have their power lines either. Interesting. Bayhorse Goods Shed. Site of Bayhorse Station, another private residence now. Looks like they have a lot of cars at Bayhorse Station. There is a River Conda Viaduct, so that's a fairly impressive bridge structure. Lancaster University, another big custom structure with some sports grounds. There's a bit of default grass scenery down on the bottom right there. Apart from that, looks pretty nice. Lancaster Royal Albert Hospital, that's a nice one. That's a very big building. I wonder how many of these you can actually fly over and get to from the route. Hopefully you can get into them to appreciate the efforts of the 3D developers here. Lancaster Canal, Lancaster Overbridge. Great to see another canal in a route with canal boats. Do they move? That would be an interesting question. And that would be cool if they did. Lancaster Station, originally known as Lancaster Castle Station, to distinguish it from the first station at Lancaster, was opened in September 1846. It's probably next to a castle. Maybe. Lancaster Cathedral, another big custom asset. Lancaster Castle, another massive custom asset. Looks very nice too. Site of the former Cockerham Cross Railway Junction. I wonder what the giant structure is. Is it an old gasometer or water tower? Don't know. Looks like there's another one in the background there. Be curious what that structure actually is. Lancaster Corporation Gasworks. That answers that question. It's a gasometer. Okay, very good. Site of former junction to Lancaster Green Air. So on the gasometers, used to see these things all over the place. The UK, I assume, was like Australia. They were just everywhere. But now we run pressure mains, so they don't exist. Castle Viaduct Riverloon, Lancaster. That's a fairly big bridge, another custom asset. Ashton Memorial, another custom asset. That one, I'm sad to say, looks like it's just been plonked in the ground, though. That doesn't actually look all that nice, that one. The building looks great, but the surroundings, not so much. Morecambe Junction, a triangle of track that allowed trains from Morecambe to run south or north on the West Coast Main Line, and the West Coast Main Line trains coming from the north or south to head to Morecambe. That's a pretty big feature. The signal box controlled trains between Bear Lane Junction and Morecambe Junction. I think these are the explorable signal boxes, by the way. You can go inside them. So you can go in and have a look. The Morecambe signal box. The Frontierland Western theme park. So this has been kind of been their thing, adding theme parks. And I did notice in the preview stream that the big Ferris wheel does actually move. And that one probably is a Ferris wheel because the little cars are actually inside the frame. Morecambe Central Pier. The sea remarkably flat. Nice calm day. permanent calm. One of the things we don't have in this game is a really violent sea front. That's an addition I would love to see, but I could imagine what it would do to a PS4. It'd probably catch fire. You might need the sea to put the fire out. This is Morecambe Seafront, which looks particularly nice, I have to say. That's nicely done. One of the questions that we did see on the stream that wasn't answered is, does this light up at night time? It'd be interesting to know that. Morecambe Winter Gardens, another custom asset. I believe this area is wanderable, so you can come out here and walk around. I'm guessing it does light up at night because there are light bulbs. Why would you bother stringing up something like that and creating that asset if they didn't light up? Site of the Hest Bank Station, which is clearly gone. Hest Bank, Morecambe Bay. We're running down past the seaside there. Hest Bank Signal Box. Another explorable box, I'm hoping. Carnforth Steamtown. So it's a museum to a variety of steam locomotives. Now closed as a museum, it's the major national operational base of West Coast Railways. Interesting. Carnforth Coal Loading Tower. These great big concrete structures were everywhere. Even on our railways had them, and just about all gone now. So I wonder if this one still survives in real life. That would be interesting. Cellside Signal Box. That's a little cute one. Certainly a custom asset because we haven't seen anything like that before. Former Furness Railway Signal Box at Carnforth Station. That's a serious structure. I'm guessing that one's not explorable because it says former. Carnforth F&M Junction Signal Box. That looks explorable. The door is open. Carnforth Junction Signal Box. I can't see a door on that one, but, you know, great big box, hopefully explorable. Looks like there might be some kind of walking trail over the top of it too. Carnforth East Junction Signal Box. This one's doors are closed, so perhaps not explorable. Site of the Burton and Home Station. So no longer there. Looks like a private residence. Site of Milnthorpe Station. Actually, got relatives in the Milne family. I wonder if they're from there or similar. They're Scottish, actually, so no, they couldn't be. Anyway, moving on. Looks pretty good. Hincaster Junction. Quite nice. Hincaster Goodshed. That looks remarkably tidy. Very, very tidy station master there, I'm tipping. Disused Hincaster Canal Tunnel. So, no longer using that canal, of course. The Canals Trust have let that one slide. Docker Viaduct. That is huge. Very cool. Look forward to the gratuitous bridge shots. It's bigger than the trees. I do think there's some bespoke trees there too. Quite good. Lambrig Signal Box. No open door, so I'm guessing that's not one we can get into. Lowgill Viaduct. Another massive one. Looks a bit like the Harry Potter Viaduct, but it's not because that's further north. Site of Lowgill Station, so the former station yard. Site branch to Ingleton. Just making sure I'm recording there, glancing over. Had a horrible thought that maybe I wasn't, but I am. The Ingleton branch, that's where it used to be. The Loon Gorge. Looks quite pretty with the distant scenery there. It's something that's been a little challenged in Unreal at times, but that looks pretty good. Site of T-Bay Station. Looks like a little bit of a yard there still, perhaps. T-Bay Railway Cottages. Must be a local landmark, or they wouldn't have pointed them out, so cool. Shap Summit and Quarry. So it looks like there's an accessible yard there. Hopefully there's some services or scenarios, or at least some paths that go into there for us to use ourselves and get in there on free roam. Ardendale Quarry, whereas limestone mining, and there's some enormous amounts of gretters spewing into the atmosphere at that point. Good to see. Site of Shap Station, so the former Shap Beck Quarry. Another big quarry on the line. Doesn't look like that one's served by rail, though. Well, not from this angle, anyway. Lowther Viaduct, all known as Hughes Crag Viaduct, another massive one. The gratuitous bridge shots are going to be many. Yanwath Hall, or maybe Yanwa Hall, I don't know, something like that. It's a grade 1 listed building. I think it's probably the angle of the screenshot, but it doesn't look amazing to me, so hopefully up close and personal looks good. I think the brick and stone one probably looks quite nice, but the other buildings are a a little light on detail from here, but that might just be from the distance that this screenshot was taken from. The 5-arch viaduct across the River Amont. That looks very, very nice. Really appreciative of that one. Good trees, good water's edge. A good water's edge really fills the immersion. Really good. Site of the junction for the line to Keswick. So that's a former line branching off into the distance there. Perhaps a preserved railway will come along as a DLC and plonk itself down there. No, not likely. Penrith Castle, partially destroyed, ruined medieval castle. Looks really cool. Site of Plumpton Station. That one we can see some overlapping road textures. Those kinds of things annoy me a little bit, but the rest of it looks pretty amazing. Site of Carlisle Station. Now this one looks really good. That looks like a really, really well scenic area. Lots of shrubbery, everything embedded into the ground properly. Lots of little fields. I really like that one. That's cool. Site of South Waith Station. So again, that's another one that's been just done really nicely. He's hoping we've got some new cows, not the low resolution DTG cows, because some new ones would be cool. The site of Ray, another one that looks quite nice, well done. Site of Briscoe. That one looks reasonably good. There's a little bit of default texturing in the field, but mostly it looks really nice. Carlisle Upby TMD and yards. That looks excellent. I wonder if you can open the doors on the long sheds. That would be cool. That looks really nicely done. And there's some kind of large thing off in the distance as well on the right hand side there. I'm not too sure what that is, but there's something there. Carlisle Citadel does look quite nice. City scenes in TSW have been a little lacking from time to time, but this one looks pretty nice. Even got the red phone box down there. Excellent. Carlisle PSB. It's a bit of a bland building, but I know this one. It is in real life. Carlisle Cathedral. Looks okay. The ground's a little there, I guess. Carlisle Castle. That looks reasonably good. Etherby Bridge. That looks excellent. Really nicely done. Nice water's edge along the river there. Kingmore TMD, that one looks pretty nice as well, so nestled in among the fields there. Kingmore Yard looks pretty decent. Yards are always little just empty spaces. Hopefully that fills up with trains. Brunt Hill branch line does look pretty good. I don't think the branch line's actually included, so perhaps that's a AI trains on and off the route thing. We shall find out, won't we? Currick Yard and Wagon Repair Depot looks pretty nice, nestled in amongst the city scene there. And if you can hear some strange noises in the background, that's my cat mentally tearing something to pieces. London Road Goods Yard. Once an extensive goods yard, London Road has been much reduced by the time in which this route is set, so it's quite a small yard now. Looks like it could have been monstrous, but now it's quite little. Let's look at the locomotives. We have the 87-0 in BR Blue, looking pretty resplendent, and a different kind of light on the front of that one, which is pretty cool. The 87-0 as an intercity executive, also looking pretty cool. I like the blue livery better, I think, just personally. I know some people will hate me for that. And they do hint at the 86 here again. Look at that. Need for a high performance electric locomotive in the existing class 86. Driving the 87, so there's some notes about how to drive and how to set up and how to handle neutral sections. There's the sign for a neutral section, so it gives you a 1 mile warning, so you've got to crank it back down to the rundown position. And then the start of the neutral section, there isn't a sign for the end of the neutral section, I notice. Not in the manual. Hopefully it comes up. I'm sure it'll be on the next page. So you have to make sure you have no power supplied, otherwise the locomotive will dump all power immediately and cause a large jolt, which may result in an MCB main circuit breaker tripping. There you go. So how do you know you're in a neutral section, and when it ends, you'll get a line light. So when there's no power, there's no line light, so that's this thing here. When there is power, it's lit up. Excuse me. We are only halfway through. So we've got the master controls and the power controller, a little bit of detail on how to run this thing. I don't expect this engine will be any harder to drive than, say, the 103 on the German trains, which are actually quite a lot of fun. It's nice and challenging. I think the 110 might be another one too. But, bit of fun to drive a tap changer. We do have the brake pin on this one. That's interesting. I hope there's a key for the brake pin. That'll be good to have. I think could this be the first train where the brake pin is implemented? I'm not sure. The brake pin just stops you moving the brake handle, if you're wondering. Stops you moving it to the shutdown position. Which implies to get it out of the shutdown position, you've got to pull the pin. We've got the main console with our controls there. I'll leave you to read through those when you have a flick through the manual. The upper main console, which gives you the load indicators. You need to keep them in the green or the yellow. Keep out of the red or it goes pop. And there's also your notch indicators in the driving loco and the second loco. So they're quite handy to see where you're actually up to. AWS alert, the second side. It's nice and grubby, this locomotive. I quite like that. And the DSD pedal. The guard's buzzer, left of the driver's seat there. Cab sun blinds, good. You can open and close your windows, naturally. You can change the height of the seat. Ooh, very nice. And they can both be adjusted. Very, very nice. I like that. There's a door to the locomotive machine room. To enter the machine room, you need to crouch down so you don't bang your head on the roof. I think from the operations menu you can crouch. Maybe no, it might be left stick actually, just thinking about it. Cab rear bulkhead, this is an important one. So we've got three things labelled there. The AWS isolation lever on the left, so that turns on AWS for your safety systems. The 2 is the AWS cab end change lever. You must use the change lever to tell it which cab you are driving from. Whether you're using AWS or not, you must use this lever. Fire alarm test button, that sounds like fun. Gonna have to press that. Rear cab light switch, and there's the bulkhead left, so it's the hot plate. Magic. I wonder if they'll have the toilet in here. And you can get into the machine room that runs through the whole length of the locomotive. There are some switches in the machine room that you'll be interested in. It's the circuit breaker panel. Given all of these are labelled and available, my guess would be that this might potentially become an expert locomotive at some point in the future. That would be quite interesting. We have the main circuit breakers. There appear to be 4. We have the battery isolator switch and the lights that tell you it's on fire, or at least on. We have effects of main circuit breaker operation. Looks quite. There's a bit of reading you want to do here, I think. I think that's quite cool. And they don't simulate the heating. I'm sad now. I wanted my computer to get hot. No, I don't. I really don't. Had enough of that crap. Here's a class 47-4. So this is the same one from Blackpool branches. I don't think they've made any changes to it that I have seen mentioned. There might be a couple of additional ones. There might be some additional nameplates, but I haven't seen that mentioned. I'm just guessing. I'm not sure if they were all on Blackpool or not. And then in the ScotRail livery as well, and the Intercity livery below that. So pretty cool. And some more of the big BR logos, BR large. We have the console on the right side, so remember this from Blackpool, so we'll just quickly flick through this one. If you don't remember it, get into the manual. But it does look remarkably nicely done. This is another one where you must use the change ends lever or you will not go very far at all. Pretty cool, and that's how you turn on the DSD with a nice little isolation switch up there. Hand brake. And the Class 08. Now they appear to have done some work on the Class 08 because that's looking a tad better than it used to. That looks quite nice. We've got it in BR Blue Type A and Type B. Type C weathered. Ooh, that's a grubby one. I'm guessing that worked in a cement factory or something. That's very grubby. Hate to think what its air filters look like. Poor thing. Type D and a Wigan TMD version. Pretty cool. Driving, it looks like the same controls we're used to. Won't go through those. Yes, looks about the same. Looks like all the stuff that we have on the others as well. So that's cool. Looks pretty cool, pretty standard stuff. Actually, we've got the wipers might be, maybe different. Not sure on that. So there's, well, it actually talks about a button on the wipers to operate the windscreen wipers. So that, yeah, so there's a button on the wiper itself. Okay, cool. I don't think we've had that before. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think I always ended up using Raildriver. The Class 101 Blue-Grey 2 and the Blue-Grey 3 car. Now, they've definitely done some work on the 101. They've done some fairly extensive modifications. There is a driving procedure here for that one. Naturally, there will be a tutorial. This is, look, it's not a difficult machine to drive, but you do need to pay a bit of attention to what you're doing. You do need to watch your speeds for the gearbox. There is an excellent video, which I think is from the LMS, which is driving diesels or something. It's a 4-part thing. Magnificent. The change ends lever. Yes, this is quite hidden down here. So underneath the chair there, there's a little lever poking out at the top there. And there's the AWS lever at the bottom. So you will need to set your change ends lever to tell it what end you are driving from. We've got, oh, there's a cab light now. I don't think we've had that before. New sun blinds. Marker lights are a little different. There's now 4 switches. Pretty cool. The left engine start, right engine stop, right engine start. I think they stop everything, actually. It's all engine stop. I read that as left engine stop. That's just me. Now, the coaches. We've got the Mark 1 BG. We've got the BG News. So that's a new coach. I don't think we've seen that one before. We've got the Parcels one, which I think we might have seen in Blackpool branches. Not sure about that. One of those two we had and the other one we didn't, I think. But don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. BG Parcels in blue and grey. NHA blue and grey. That's the Braked Guard coach. BG Braked Guard coach in Intercity. TSO in blue and grey, and the FK in blue and grey. Mark 3A coaches, we've got the FO in blue and grey. It's the inside with a modern 80s layout. Lovely. The Intercity livery, first open passenger coach. Also with the modern 80s brown. BR blue grey RFB. So it'd be lovely to have someone serving in this servery, in the RFBs, but unfortunately they're closed, so no crappy cheese and ham sandwiches for you. Got the TSO in blue-grey, and those look quite nice inside. They're very clean inside, but I guess in the heyday they might have been. BBA steel wagon, so that's steel coils. It's really interesting for me to see the steel coils lying on their sides like that. So when we transport steel coils, we transport them standing up, because if they're standing up, they tend not to unravel and smash the crap out of everything, whereas if they're lying down like this, they could. But, you know, if that's the way it was done, it's the way it was done. FFA, FGA container flats. And there's a whole bunch of training modules for the 87, the 101, the 47, and the 08. Nice to see the things that aren't from the route actually have training modules on the route. That's really good. Ways to experience, scenarios, timetable, journeys, conductor, free roam, task, mastery, challenge, fast travel, and inner hopping. We have scenarios. There are several. I won't go through what they are. We'll do that when we get the route itself. It's a intense 24-hour timetable. Let's run a Gen 8. They're a bit not very intense. There's quite a few journeys to play through. Conductor mode. So it looks like there's a conductor tutorial, maybe? Maybe, I hope. Hope there's a conductor tutorial. Free roam, we know about that one. Free roam more. Spawning, how you do it. Mastery challenges. Creators Club, fast travel, inner hopping. So that's crossed to a different route. So that's, yeah, that's just route hopping. So it appears to actually be called inner hopping now. It's interesting because I don't think in the build that I run it's called inner hopping. I think it's just called route hopping. But anyway, layering. There's a lot of layers. So many layers. Tees Valley. West Cornwall Local, Spirit of Steam, BR Heavy Freight Pack, BR Class 20 Chopper, BR Class 31 Loco, Blackpool Branches, Northern Transpennine Manchester, and then the Flying Scotty. Now you don't actually have to have any of them, but if you do have them, they give you what they describe as a more authentic experience. I'd describe it as a more full timetable personally. There's a whole bunch of achievements, nice to see. It's everything's supported in Livery Designer, it would appear. Well, not everything, actually. So the 87, the 101, the 48, and the 08 are Mark 1 NHA, Mark 1 BG, Mark 2A, and Mark 3A. So are supported. Does that mean that all the coaches are? I'm not sure. Alrighty. Credits-wise, worth going through this. Creative team, Benedict Cooper, Alex Ford, Callum Green, Thomas Harrison, Marcin Madro, Alex Riley, Mark Walker, tech support, Mark Allison, Dan Cushing, Ian Pearson, customer service, Simon King, and artwork by Fink Creative. Special thanks to all of the testers, Chris Gallagher from Locomotive Services Group, Crew Heritage Centre, Dovetail Games, Edward Fisk, James Mather, Alex Perry, Armstrong Powerhouse, Simtrack Studios, Nitin Singh, and Matthew Wilson. And that's it, I think, the end of the manual. So very comprehensive. Definitely have a read of it. You've got a week. Surely you can read a 128-page manual in a week. It's mostly pictures. But anyway, it looks really cool. So looking forward to the route. Great to see some more screenshots of the areas. Most of them I think are really spectacular. There's a few that I think could have a little bit of attention. But overall on this route, scenery, excellent. Really good. I'm looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a really interesting route. Now, there is a live stream tomorrow from Just Trains, which is revealing the route in their own way. I'll put a link to that in the description, and I'll put a link to the manual in the description. And like I said, if you struggle to page through the thing in your browser, use the Microsoft Print to PDF to make another version of it, and it will be much easier. Alrighty. That's it, folks. Thank you very much. Enjoy yourselves. Questions and comments down below as usual. Oh, and if you're that troll, oh, I'm sorry you can't comment anymore because I banned you. Well, there we go. Have fun. You're going to be looking through the comments to find the troll now, aren't you?
We played a game.